Welcome to the Talking Single podcast, a podcast featuring 4 single and successful Black women living in London. Join us each week as we share our stories and experiences, the highs and lows of navigating life, love, and everything in between. And we do all that with a good dose of humor and a whole lot of style. I'm Crystal. I'm a recovering love addict, now happily single. I will be your host today. We hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Season 3 of the Talking Single podcast. Welcome back to our regular listeners, and hello and welcome to anyone who's new, who's joining us. I'm Crystal, and I'll be the host today. I am the recovering love addict who is now happily single. And with me are my co-hosts and my girls, Ribi, Rasheeda, and Keysha. Hey, ladies, how are you?
Hey.
Hello.
And this is the first time we're recording in 2020. So how have you been? 2021, sorry. I'm still living in 2020. I mean, it feels like 2020.
2020 was the year of the pandemic. We need to forget that.
We're still in a pandemic, I'm afraid, so I can't forget.
I know, terrible.
So what have you guys been up to since we last spoke? Which was when we recorded our episode on What the Fuck 2020.
Yeah. I mean, I've been living in lockdown. I think that's the best I can say. So I have my own little bunker in my flat. It's like we're waiting for the end of days. Sorry to get dramatic. We're all hunkered down with food and warm clothing. We're all here. When will we be released?
Well, I've been traveling. I've been traveling from the bedroom to the kitchen, to the living room, to the garden. So I've been making every room a country and just enjoying that experience.
Do you have to get visas to travel between the rooms?
Well, you know, I'm British, so I don't need a visa.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think lockdown has melted Keysha's heart. She's been so soft and warm and cuddly. I'm like, what is wrong with this child? She's been sending me all these posts about well-being and self-love and love. I'm like, what is going on with this?
I think
girl?
The pandemic has got to her.
No, Keysha has she's undercover. She's very suspect. There's a guy in that house. I remain very convinced that she's hiding someone in the kitchen cupboard. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, because she disappears for days and you just have no idea where she's gone.
Oh dear.
Release him, Keysha. Let him breathe. Go for a walk. Leave him. I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Have you guys done anything new? What's new in your life? Anything new? Anyone done anything new? Anyone dating anybody? No?
I shall be doing the ironing today, which is really exciting. I think it's my first batch of ironing. No, this is serious. This is my first batch of ironing in 2021, and I feel very accomplished. So
I don't think I've ironed since March of last year.
You guys are just showing how undomesticated you are. All the Nigerian men that were following you will just remove you from their Instagram accounts.
No one cares about the rumple jumper. I mean, look at that. That was straight off the Brian rack.
You were on somebody's list and he was just checking, can she cook? Can she iron? And now the ironing is off. Oh dear.
If the person is going to disregard me because of not ironing, then I don't think I've lost that much then. Yeah.
We need some love guru advice here.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I've been doing. So I watched The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. And since I've watched it, I've had this unhealthy fixation on Baby Yoda. So for hours on repeat, I just watch Baby Yoda videos on YouTube. If you guys haven't seen it, you don't even have to watch Mandalorian. Just look for Baby Yoda on YouTube and just watch the videos over and over and over and over again. Trust me, it's worth it.
There's a question I want to ask, but I don't think I should. So let's just move on.
No, ask away.
Unhealthy fixation. Please explain what that means.
Watching YouTube videos of Baby Yoda on repeat, non-stop. Has anybody seen The Mandalorian?
I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it. That Baby Yoda is just needs caning. Beating.
No, but it's
Did you see when he ate those eggs? Those eggs?
Yes. Oh my God, that was so cute.
That was cute.
Yeah.
Wow.
Louisa, Savannah, and Laura, have you guys seen it?
No, I'm not a Star Wars fan.
No, Baby Yoda is so cute. So that's how I've been spending at least the last 2 weeks, just watching the YouTube videos over and over and over again.
Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, just go on YouTube and check out some Baby Yoda videos. He is quite cute. He's naughty, but he's cute.
Very naughty.
Yeah.
Very naughty.
Yeah. So today we have some guests in the house. We have some love gurus, and they are going to be talking to us about dating, love, and whatever else we choose to talk about. And I would like to introduce our guests. So our first guest is Laura, aka the Tartan Matchmaker, and she's the founder of Matchmade in Scotland, the premier matchmaking service in Scotland. Laura, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do and your matchmaking services and how it's going in lockdown?
Yeah, certainly. Thanks for having me on. So I'm Laura, founder of Matchmade in Scotland. I launched my service in November on National Singles Day in 2020. And basically it came about after speaking to a lot of my friends who were fed up of online dating. So I just wanted to set up an alternative. So I've been working with people. I've worked in recruitment for 10 years. So I'm always dealing with people trying to find them their dream job. And now I'm trying to find them their dream partner. So it's been going really well so far. A lot better than I actually had planned. So we've got quite a few clients on at the moment, which is good, but it's also quite difficult being in lockdown because we do cover all of Scotland. So at the moment, we're trying to get people matches in the city that they're living in so that they can actually meet them for a socially distant walk or something like that. So before Christmas, we had a couple that had met a few times and they actually ended up spending Christmas together, which is really nice. So far, so good.
Oh, that's really nice that the couple got to spend Christmas together. That's really good. Well done. Well done. And I asked Laura to send in her love persona, as we do with all our guests. And Laura has described it as the pragmatic romantic who has found out that her Prince Charming isn't always charming and doesn't have a white horse, but that's okay. Very nice. Love it. Our second guest is Louisa, aka the Love Guru, a London-based love guru who helps clients with dating advice and dating profile support. Louisa, can you tell us a bit about what you do? You recently created a Tinder profile for research. And you went to help some guys with their profiles. You can tell us about that. How did it go? Because I thought that was a bit amusing.
Hey everyone, I'm Louisa, London Love Guru. And yeah, so my account is basically just dating advice. And I have quite a few people that just like randomly DM me for advice and questions. So there was this other Instagram account, Damsel in Dating Distress. And she'd made this post about how like a third of guys that use dating apps just don't get like dates, and I was just like, I'm not surprised because they're usually so shocking. And when I used to use dating apps, I'd be so tempted to swipe right even if their accounts are bad, just to give them tips just so they can get laid, you know. So we thought, you know what, let's do an experiment and make London Love Guru on Tinder, and she also made her own account, and we thought, let's just slide into people's DMs and just give them some advice. And I was shocked by the reception. I literally, within seconds, I was just getting all these matches and guys popping into my messages on Tinder asking for recommendations on their dating profile. So yeah, it was good fun whilst it lasted, because Tinder then banned my account for promoting a service, even though I was helping these poor guys.
Killjoys.
Literally, like there's so many fake accounts on all these dating apps that don't get taken down as quickly. But I lasted 2 days. So yeah, it was good fun, good experiment. It definitely showed that people are open to advice, and also people are just really bad at making dating profiles.
Well, that's what you're here for, so you can help people. We can push people towards you. Go to Louisa; she'll help you. And your love persona reads, I know exactly what kind of guy I want. So guys rarely got the pleasure of more than one date with me. I used to fancy guys who weren't good for me, but now I am in a happy and prosperous relationship with my best mate, a consequence of the first lockdown and the only good thing to come out of lockdown. Oh, that is so nice. No. And by the way, Laura and Louisa, you're the first 2 guests who are actually not single, who have been on our podcast. Everyone else who has been so far has been single. So yeah.
I feel honored.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. And our 3rd guest, and the only male in the house, is Subono, aka Brown Bear 30ish, a dating coach and podcaster who helps clients find love. So Subono, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you came into being a dating coach.
Well, firstly, thank you very much for having me on. It's an absolute privilege to be on the show, and I love the work you're all doing. The content you produce it's just hilarious. That's the only way I can describe it. So for me, I'm a dating and actually a personal development coach that help people navigate the increasingly complex world of dating and the like. But what I find is when I work with my clients, actually by improving their lives, their dating life improves as a byproduct of that, because they're just naturally more prone to sort of project that attractiveness if you get your whole life in order. So it's just helping clients navigate all of that. And one of the vehicles in which I do that is my own podcast as well, where I basically interview other coaches, bloggers, authors. Thanks to you guys, I could potentially have recruited a couple more guests if they would be interested in coming on, just to get as much information out there as possible as to what options there are for single people to use if they want to hire a coach or read a good book or whatever it is. So it's just trying to get as much information out there for single people to use at their discretion.
Yeah, I was actually listening to your podcast this morning, the one about where you and some other podcasters did some speed dating research, and I found it hilarious. So yeah, listen to Subono's podcast. What's it called?
It's called Online Dating Laid Bare.
Yeah, it's really funny. So yeah. So today we're going to talk about dating, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. So I'm just going to get into it straight away. So I'm just going to start with online dating because it seems like we can't get away from online dating. But I know that there are people like me who have stopped online dating because I have been verbally abused on online dating. I've been sent numerous unsolicited dick pics. I've been ghosted. I've been asked by people to make them my slaves. I was even told by a date who I said to this guy that you're a nice guy, but I don't think you're for me. And he told me that I'm ugly, both inside and out. I've been messed around by fuck boys, but some of that is my fault because I had issues that I needed to deal with. But I've heard a lot of different things from my friends who have also tried online dating and given up. And I just feel like in a world of online dating where it's more based on how you look, because when you're swiping left and right, you're just swiping on people's pictures. But sometimes those people, if you met them in real life, you would actually have a really good conversation with them and maybe end up dating them. So my question is really, does online dating work? And before COVID, what were the alternatives? So after COVID, when life gets back to normal, for those of us who do not want to do online dating, what are the alternatives? And in reality, can we actually give up on online dating really? Because in the age of, in the digital age that we live in, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. So I'm going to start with Laura. Laura, you're a matchmaker, and that's obviously an alternative. So what are your thoughts on online dating compared to matchmaking?
So I think that obviously, I guess they all have their pros and cons. With regards to online dating, I think that it's changed a lot over the years, and it's people aren't being genuine and they're not being upfront about what it is that they're looking for. If you think about the whole concept of online dating, which is a multi-billion-pound industry, how do they make their money? They make their money through advertisements. So they want you to be on that app or on their online site for as long as possible so that they can show you as many advertisements as they want. So we need to ask ourselves, are they actually designed for us to meet people? I do think it is possible to meet people, because if you're on that and you're looking for a serious and you're a genuine person, there's obviously other people like you out there, but it's whether you have the time to cut through all of the nonsense to find that person. So the other thing, or the other issues with online dating, is what's known as the paradox of choice. I don't know if you have come across this before, but basically scientists have said that if you have too many choices, then you end up not making any. And I know from personal experience, like from speaking to my single friends, that a lot of them, when they do go on dates, they find something very small to think, to say, okay, well, no, that person's not for me. And it makes me think that if they didn't have, 50 other guys in their inbox, would they have given that person another chance? So, it's kind of, it's weighing up the pros and cons of each, but I do think that there are other alternatives out there. I think that if you do want to use online dating, you should probably go for one where you pay, because that way you know that that person has made a little bit of investment into finding love, and therefore they're more serious, because, it only takes 2 minutes to set up an online profile. You just need to flick through your phone, find a few selfies, put it up. Most people don't even write any sort of bio. It's just their name and their age, and that's it. So that would be my sort of tip, is if you do want to go down that line with online dating, go to one of the apps where you need to pay.
And with matchmaking, how would you say that is like a better, because, it's a more personal option, I would say. How would you say that is better than online dating as an alternative?
It's better because people are paying money for it. They've taken the financial investment, and matchmaking isn't cheap, unfortunately, but someone's made a substantial investment because it is something that they really want. They have reflected, especially over the last year with COVID, like, this is what I want. I really want to have a serious relationship. If you think we've been in lockdown nearly a year, and a lot can happen in a year, it's not inconceivable to meet someone and then within a year be engaged. So people have really got that aspect of their life taken away from them, and it's out of their control. So people that come to me, they're like, I just want to have control over that aspect of my life again. So I think that for those people, it's better because they know that the people that they're going to be matched with has made that investment as well, and they've taken an hour, 2 hours out of their day to come and meet with me and have a full in-depth consultation. So you can tell that they are serious, they are genuine. We also vet everyone. We check their IDs. We check that they are who they say they are. And we also have, serious conversations about what they want, if they want to have children, if they want to get married. Because a lot of the issues are, when you are going on online dating, people aren't having, or conventional dating in general, people aren't having those conversations off the bat. It might be 2-3 months down the line after you've started dating someone that you start to have these conversations. And if at that point that person tells you, I don't want to have kids, and you do, then effectively you kind of have wasted 2 or 3 months with that person, if that's such a desire that you do have. Whereas with me, or with any matchmaking service, that's all out from the very start. You're not going to be matched with someone that doesn't want to have children. And it's quite funny because like I had a consultation with a man the other day who really, really wants to have children. He's godfather to all of his friends' children. And he's like, I'm 40 now. This is what I really want. But in the same conversation, he was telling me that he went on a date with a lady. And in the very first date, the lady said, I really want to have children. And that freaked him out, because he just felt like she was just, oh, I really, really want to have children. And this is kind of, a bit of desperation. And I'm thinking there, hold on a minute, you've just told me that you want that. So even in circumstances where people are being upfront, it does scare other people away, even though that's what they want as well. So I think, we're getting these sort of conversations out of the way before you even meet anyone. So you don't even need to have those conversations on the first date, but you already are secure in your mind that that person wants what you want.
So to Louisa now, what are your thoughts on online dating, and what do you think are the alternatives?
Yeah, so I'm not actually a big fan of dating apps, because I'm that kind of person that I know in 30 seconds if I feel that vibe with someone. So there's been times where, you're talking to someone and then you just prefer them to the person that you actually meet. You prefer the texts that you exchange. So that's why, I've given it a good go, and it's been quite fun, just getting yourself out there and gaining that confidence in, talking to people online and in dating. But for me, I've just haven't been successful in it because I just don't have time to waste. So if I know instantly I'm not feeling that vibe, I'm just like, okay, next person. But then I've got loads of friends that it has worked, and quite a few are in very happy relationships with people that they've met on Tinder and on Hinge. So if you can sift through all the masses on there, then there are some good prospects for you. I guess it's just if you are lucky enough to meet and swipe someone, that you vibe with. But yeah, in terms of alternatives, for me, whenever I've actually liked someone and dated them for a longer amount of time, I haven't met them online. I've met them at parties or even at a wedding, through friends and stuff. So obviously that's impossible right now. But post lockdown, I guess it's just being open to just speaking to people when you do go to these gatherings. And if you have friends that, have guy friends, whatever, just introducing them to each other. I enjoy doing that and bringing all my different friends from all different areas together, and it can be good fun, and good things can happen from that sometimes. But for me, it's about getting that real life connection with someone. I can't just do that online.
Yeah, I agree. I think a few of my friends who are married and happily married, they got introduced to their partners by someone. They never even ever tried online dating. And I do know a few people who've tried online dating, but not many. Maybe one person that I know has been successful and in a happy relationship so far. But yeah. So, Suberno, I realized that I did not read your love persona, so I'm going to do that first. So Suberno's love persona reads, I'm a guitar-playing podcaster who enjoys people with a sense of purpose and a passion for something, as well as a good sense of humor. And Suberno, you're single, right?
Yes.
Yes, you're single. Okay, so what are your thoughts on online dating, and what do you think are the alternatives?
So I think Laura and Louisa have made most of the points that I would have made. I think they've covered pretty much everything spot on. So alternatively, I would like to throw some additional ideas into the mix. For those who want to, obviously we can't really ignore the situation that's going on. For those who aren't comfortable going out, and want to remain online and want to date, then I would definitely try virtual speed dating. I think all of us are based in Great Britain. So whether it's Scotland, Manchester, London, there are plenty of virtual online dating events being hosted. I think they're more time efficient than the in-person events. And it's one of the good things to come from the situation we're in, because as opposed to spending time getting ready, going to a bar, having a few drinks, doing an event, having a few more drinks, and spending, I mean, I don't know how much people spend on a night out, but also factoring in that time. If you compare that to a virtual event where you take 5 minutes to, you don't even have to get properly ready. You just get the top half of you ready, find a nice room to do the event in, and you can get the event done. It normally takes about an hour, and then you're done and you're at home. So it's more time efficient in that respect. An adaptation of the virtual events is the fact that there are more audio-based events coming out. So sort of tailgating onto what Louisa and Laura said with regards to dating apps and the sort of fake nature you do get. I think the audio-only events are proving very popular because it's taking that layer of superficiality out. So you're just talking to someone and getting to know them. And the feedback that's coming out is the fact that a lot of people are considering others they would not normally have considered. So I think in that respect, it's working really well if people are interested in going down that route. Just a quick question to Louisa, actually, because I think she said at the start of the show how she's now dating her best friend or a close friend. So I just wanted to ask her, what was that friendship based on?
So I was in my final year at university, and I was like living in a house with my mates, but there was one guy that I didn't know because he was friends with the boys in my house. Yeah. And like we got on like a house on fire straight away. Like we quickly became really good friends. And in my head, I was just like, like he's literally perfect, but we're just good mates. I wasn't feeling that like romantic spark. But as we got to know each other, we just became really close, and then we hooked up, and I was like, oh, never again. I don't want to do that with my friends. No. Yeah. But then with lockdown and everything, we were just spending so much time together, and we just developed those feelings. And and then we got together, and it was just amazing because like, for me, I feel like your partner should be your best mate as well as your lover, like you need to be able to get on so well like that. And for me, one of my like top criteria for like dating anyone is, can I talk shit for hours with this person? Can we just, just talk for ages and the time doesn't even feel like it's passing? So yeah, that's how that all came about, which was a massive surprise, finishing uni, getting a boyfriend, and then he lives in Wales and I live in London. But it's long distance, but it's been worth it. And yes.
What was the original friendship based on? What was the common interest?
We were just got on well. Like we're quite different in respect of things that we like, but we just had a really similar sense of humor. And I guess the same sort of morals as well in terms of the kind of people that we were. And that's just how we clicked, because we just would always have a laugh, which I think is what our relationship is really based on, because we're just always laughing.
Yeah. So this is another option that I'm throwing out to people as well to really think about seriously. So say, for example, you said your friendship was based on your humor. And if you think about your friends in general, your best friendships are based on a common interest. So say, for example, the four of you are hosting this awesome podcast. I don't know how you've met originally, but the fact is, I'm sure you've become closer because you have a passion for podcasting and working together to do this. And it's funny, not a lot of people will apply the same logic to a relationship or to dating. And it's like, well, why not? I mean, your best and longest friendships are based on such a strong interest or bond at the start. Would it not make sense to apply that to dating? And one of the ways in which I do that with people, and I'm glad you said earlier how Obviously, it's not possible to meet people in real life and stuff like that, but it's still possible to do things based on a common interest. So something that came up the other day was the fact that someone was like, well, my passion is music. You know, what am I going to do? There aren't any bands knocking around. I can't go to gigs and stuff like that. But the meetup groups have adapted for the situation. So say, for example, you know, I play guitar, right? So the groups, as opposed to meeting up and playing together, obviously it's not possible, but you get 10 people on a Zoom chat and one person plays a song, everyone else is on mute, and you can play along to their song if you want to, and then everyone takes it in turns. Obviously, it's not the same vibe as playing in a bar or playing together in real life, but it's not a bad alternative. So, you know, again, just to throw that into the mix, that's another way in which you can at least meet people with a common interest, and it has a dual purpose. So one, it makes you more attractive. If you're doing something that you're passionate about and interested in, you just naturally project that attractiveness. I mean, we all find people who are enthusiastic and happy and positive more attractive than those who are a bit down and depressed. And then the other purpose is it takes the pressure off. People are putting so much pressure on themselves to date, to find someone, to meet someone. But this is a much more low pressure way to go. And at the very least, you're doing something you love. So it's kind of a win-win situation. So there are some extra ideas to throw into the mix. I can throw some more in, but I've taken up quite a bit of time already.
I want pen and paper, taking notes already. So come on, feel free, throw all the ideas to us.
I wanted to ask Sabona a question about these online dating, the alternative ways in terms of the chatting and the audio. So how do people get, how do our listeners get involved in that? I'd actually like to get involved in that virtual dating. It sounds wonderful. Who's hosting these events?
So in the north of England, so if you're based in, I would say Manchester, Leeds, Chester, Didsbury and Liverpool, look up an event called Fast Love Speed Dating. So I think their website is just fastlovespeeddating.co.uk. In London, the big event organizer is Original Dating. I think Smudged Lipstick might be doing virtual events. They were built on doing in-person events, but they might be doing virtual ones as well. And there are a couple more. I'll make a note to send those to you so you can forward them on.
That would be great.
Yeah, we can put them in our episode notes.
Yeah, and just to let you know, so I've tested out the ones in the north and in London, and yeah, I did recorded reviews of both of those as well for the podcast. But I would encourage people to at least give everything a go at least once.
Yeah. Okay, so virtual speed dating it is. I'm on it. Louisa, you said you had a comment.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, like, obviously another pro with dating apps, which I've definitely seen from like my friends over lockdown, is that like in some ways it gives you a chance to screen people a lot more, because people obviously are weighing up the whole risks of like meeting up in person, so they're having a lot more like virtual dates. So instead of just like endlessly just texting before meeting, they're actually like, doing video calls and little dates online before meeting up, which then means you kind of just seeing as someone that I actually see myself with. Because I found like using dating apps, I would meet up with people and just feel like, oh, that was a waste of time, because in real life we just didn't really get on as well as I thought we would. So it's just quite interesting seeing how like dating has really evolved, and like in some ways it's been quite a pro where people actually taking that time to have these virtual dates, and then they're like in that regard saving money and their own time in real life, because it's way quicker just popping on a call for like half an hour. So getting ready, going to the bar, meeting up with them, traveling back home and all that stuff. So it's just quite interesting seeing how dating has changed so much over the last year as well.
Yeah. I've been seeing a few new upcoming apps on Instagram and around, and two that I have taken note of. One of them, we had a chat with the co-founder, which was strike.dating. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Instagram, but strike.dating is an app, but there's also a gadget which they refer to as the wingman. And how it works is that you set up a profile and connect to this gadget, and it will connect you to people in real time. So, and then when you get a match, you can then decide whether you want to meet that person at that moment. Of course, it's still in beta testing 1, and of course you can't have it now because we're in lockdown, but I feel like once we get out and about, that might be a really, really good option. The other one I've seen, and I spoke to the founder, is Bide. It's also in beta testing, but they're encouraging people to send in their email addresses to help test it. And it's called Bide. And the main idea behind Bide is to make online matchmaking more civilized, more fruitful, and way less time consuming. And what they do is they match people one at a time, meaning that there are no distractions in form of continued searching or messaging. So that gets that out of the way. And yeah, and then if you like each other, then you get to go on a video chat. And then both users are asked after the video chat if they wish to stay in touch, and then they will be given each other's numbers if they do. And if they don't, then they can also have the option to exchange private feedback. And I thought that was like kind of a good one, because it takes away the whole swiping left and takes away that numerous option kind of thing, so you're concentrating on one person at a time. So those are the two that I know there are loads more, but those two seem promising, I think. Yeah. So this question is mainly for Louisa. What does a good online dating profile look like?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of fun with that, especially over the last week with that experiment. It just reminded me just how appalling so many profiles are. And I just feel like if you just take, just a little bit of time just to make it look good, you're going to be attracting higher quality matches and people that you're actually going to want to meet with. Because, for example, I've seen so many where people are wearing sunglasses in all their pics, or now it's masks. And it's just like, we want to see your face, we want to see what you look like. And like having just a few pictures as well just means that it's just really hard to get a grasp of what a person's like, because you kind of want to see, if they're what they're into, if they've got any hobbies, which you can really show through your pictures. And other stuff, I've seen so many people with like filters, that's a big no-no. And just so many mirror selfies where it's just like, can you not? I feel like you should only have like maximum 1 or 2 selfies per profile. You should try and get some pictures of, I don't know, you playing your instrument, or you doing some sport, or somewhere that you really like. Other stuff like not having a bio I just think is a big no-no as well, because a bio just provides a snapshot of your personality or what you're looking for. So like for me, when I was using dating apps, if there wasn't a bio, I usually wouldn't swipe right, because I just felt like I just didn't really have a good grasp of the person. And then like other stuff, people having shirtless pictures or pictures of so much skin, I'm just like, no, thank you. Or the other day I saw one with this guy, he just had his trousers down, it's just his pants. I was just like, are you really going to be getting matches? Like, you think you're surprised that people aren't swiping right on you, but this is why, And then, group photos, that's the worst, because I don't want to be playing Where's Wally? I want to know exactly who you are. I don't want to be working out exactly who you are. And only having gym pics, that just shows that that's kind of the only aspect of your personality. No thanks. Or people having the wrong age, or like their name is wrong and they're like, actually this is my name, that's just why? So I feel like people just need to spend a bit more time just thinking about their actual profile and making sure that they think clearly like what they're putting on there. Have a few photos, I'd say, have at least 3 minimum, but ideally like the perfect number would be at least like around 5, where you've got pictures of yourself doing things you love, maybe a little selfie in there, a group photo, and then just having a bio where you're just showcasing your personality a bit, and just having good quality pictures in high resolution, and bios that, you know, have no grammar and spelling mistakes as well, because that's a big no-no as well. That can really attract some good matches. And then you're just more likely just to actually have more opportunity to be able to speak to people and attract high quality matches.
So can I just quickly ask Louisa, what you've mentioned, like the bios with guys with no shirts on, or the one with just his pants on. I guess that's a clear signal for anybody that's looking for a serious relationship. You're like, no. But I'd imagine there are people who are just there for the fun of it, to just hook up and do what they want, just have an easy, no strings attached kind of fun. Those are the kind of profiles those people are matching, should or would want to match with, right?
Yeah, I guess so, because I feel like the way you present yourself is kind of showcasing what you're looking for. But even those people where they're just got their trousers down, I'm just like, would anyone even if you just want to hook up with someone, would you really want to swipe right for someone that's presenting
the person is just but maybe the person is just a prankster and is just showing his fun side. Maybe.
Well, I've definitely seen that a few times on Tinder, and it's not pretty, you know. But yeah, I guess that's a good point. I feel like people, especially people that have messaged me for advice for dating, or to look at their dating profile, and they're interested in actually dating and finding someone, then they're shocked by why they're not getting matches. But it's because their profile is just of such a low quality, where they are just giving off that wrong impression, you know. So I guess you just have to base it on what message you want to send across, depending on what you're looking for.
Does anyone else have any comments, anything they would like to add to online dating profiles?
Yeah, I would just say, like, a good tip would be, if you're a man, to ask a female friend to help you with your bio, because they will know what another female is looking for. And likewise, for the girls, if they get their male friends to have a look over it. And I think that's very insightful, because we all are the different sexes, we think in different ways.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
That's a good tip. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I set up my Instagram accounts, because I was setting up all my friends' dating profiles, like boys and girls, and they were just like, oh, Louisa, you just need to have a bank where you put all your advice and stuff, so we can, you know, can look back at it, which is why I created it. And I think that's such an important thing, because then, you know, you can get that feedback, and then hopefully that can lead to some good matches.
Yeah. So Berno, do you have any thoughts on profiles?
Just to throw in a couple of additional points, which I've forgotten. So one is the hobby. If you've got a really cool or interesting hobby, then definitely throw that in. So, for example, when I was on an app, I had a picture of me podcasting in action, and the number of times people opened with that. It's just an easy conversation starter. I would think about how you write your job. So say, for example, job titles like accountant or engineer or doctor are redundant these days, because they can mean so many different things. And also it's boring. Like it doesn't mean anything. I'm not taking anything away from those specific jobs, but no one really knows what they mean anymore. So an example I like to use is, say, for example, if you're an accountant at Carphone Warehouse, you can write something like, fudge the numbers for people buying the new Samsung phone, or something like that. Obviously, you got to make it relevant to yourself and come up with something better than that. But that's one way to open your profile as well, because often people filter by job, or they want to know what you do. So that's one way of making it more interesting. One thing I tell my female clients who are on Bumble is, if you get a match, when you send your first message, just do it as an audio message. Guys who are intimidated by that level of confidence won't reply. And ultimately, if they don't reply, is that the sort of guy you want to have a conversation with anyway? And most of them say no, if they can't take the fact that they've received an audio message first. And also it gets the ball rolling quicker as well.
Okay. That's good. So moving on to another question, and this question is actually from Ribi. What are the things to avoid when doing on a first date? Are there things that we women do that we shouldn't on a first date? I'll start with you, Sabrina. What do you think about first dates with women? What common mistakes can you think of that women make that would make a guy run the other way, maybe?
I mean, the ones that I can think of, which to be honest aren't restricted to women, it comes from both sides, is talking about your dating history on a date. Spend time and effort getting to know the other person, what makes them tick, what they're passionate about, what their morals are, how close with their family and stuff like that, if that's what you want to know. But I never understand why people say, they ask off the bat, why are you single? I mean, what is that conversation thread is only going one way. And for me personally, it's not something I'm interested in anyway, because I want to find out more about the person. But I would avoid that area, particularly on the first date, because I just don't think there's any need for it.
Oh, thank you. Because of time, I'm going to move us on right quickly to another question. When is the right time to cancel your online dating profile? And I have a story here. A friend of mine had met this guy and they were dating, and he told her, I mean, I guess he was a bit of an idiot, but he told her, let's cancel our online dating profiles. She met him on Bumble, so they canceled their online dating profiles. And then a few weeks later, her best friend comes up to her and says, this is the guy you're dating, right? He just matched with me on Hinge. And she was like, oh, we said we were exclusive and we both canceled our profiles. But this guy had then gone, it's like the ultimate cock block, isn't it? Because he then left her and then gone on another dating profile. So I wanted to know your thoughts on when is the right time to cancel your dating profile? What kind of conversations should you be having? And I'll go to Louisa first on this one.
I feel like for me, if I'm dating someone, I will just put my account on ghost mode because I'm not interested in anyone else. I want to focus my time on that person. So I feel like that's the right thing to do, really. And then if you feel like it's going really well, completely delete your account. But for me, I think it's just respectful to just put your account on ghost mode, delete the app, and see how it goes with that person if you've decided to be exclusive. Otherwise, it's just not fair, and it's just kind of sneaky as well.
Yeah.
But in the guy's defense, maybe he only agreed to cancel on Bumble. They never talked about Hinge or Tinder.
It's common sense, though, isn't it? Like you say,
I know.
Cancel our app. What a dick,
Rasheeda is a lawyer.
Guys, how do you avoid that kind of thing? As in, how can you know if somebody's being sincere? Because just because you want to be exclusive and you have that conversation, how do you know when to broach that subject?
Communication is just so important with this sort of stuff. So if you're feeling it with someone, you just have to ask, like, what page are we on, just to check to see if you're both thinking on the same page and wanting the same things. And then I think that's how you bring up those sort of conversations, because I know for me, I don't like to waste my time. I want to know exactly what's happening. So I'm happy to just bring that up and just be like, what is this? What's going on? How are we feeling? So then I just know whether or not I'm wasting my time or not.
Laura, what do you tell your clients when it comes to matchmaking? Like, when do they decide that this is exclusive and we're not giving you any other clients to look at?
So when we make a match, out of courtesy, we don't send anyone else to our clients until they come back and say, oh, it was a good date, but I want to see someone else or whatever. So it is quite clear, and we wouldn't match anyone else with them until that we have that conversation. Part of the packages that we have, because they're like annual subscriptions, they can freeze their account, freeze their membership for 3 months or 6 months, depending on which membership option that they're on. So, for example, the couple that spent Christmas together, they froze their accounts, their memberships for 3 months. So they want to see how it's going. So it's a bit of a difficult kind of question. I think I agree with Louisa in that you need to kind of be upfront. And I think that if you don't feel like you can have that conversation with the other person, then that's an indication that it's not the right time. But for my friends, when I speak to them, or any of my clients that are using online dating as well, I would say to them that do what's right for you. So if you feel like, you want to give this person your full attention, then like Louisa said, like you put your apps on ghost mode and then see. But it should be a sort of a natural thing that the other person will come and say do the same thing, if you know what I mean, rather than, you obviously should have that conversation, but I don't think that you should wait to have that conversation to stop your own, if that's how you're feeling.
Yeah, because I've never had that conversation with someone like, oh, let's not use our apps, let's delete them, because I kind of just assumed it was just what the other person would do, because as I was saying before, it's just the respectful thing to do if you've decided to be exclusive, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of just seems that you're playing the field, like you're like having options in the background. So it shows if you're dating someone and it's, getting pretty serious and you're enjoying it, then why does it matter, when you stop using your app? The only reason you have your app there is as a backup or a plan because you're not sure about the relationship going forward.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts on this issue? Sabano, do you have any comments, any thoughts?
I think Louisa and Laura covered all the essential points. In my discussions with clients, it's all about maintaining an open and honest and direct line of communication and dialogue.
Yeah. So that's all my questions, but we asked some of our listeners to also send in questions. So because of time, I'm only going to ask one. And this question is from one of our lovely listeners called Kafia. And her question is monogamy dead and are humans incapable of it? So let's start with Laura. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I was like, no, please don't ask me this. Personally, I don't think monogamy is dead. I've come from, my parents have been together for like 40 years, and I think it's difficult. I think it takes a lot of commitment and love and respect, but I do think that it is possible.
Okay. Louisa?
Yeah, for me, if I like someone, I do not want to see them with someone else. Even thinking about my boyfriend's exes just makes me feel pissed off. I just hate them all, So yeah, for me, monogamy is very much alive.
Good. Sabano?
I would agree and say, absolutely not, that monogamy is not dead. There's something very special about taking the time to really connect with and get to know someone on a deeper level that can't be replicated by having multiple superficial relationships.
Nice. Keysha?
I don't. Okay.
How many men are under your bed?
Okay, all I want to say is this, right? I don't even, I think that question, I think it leads one into a yes or no path. I think you choose the type of relationship you want to be in. And if you want to be in a monogamous relationship, you need to find a partner who wants the same thing. That way you can both achieve your goals. Because if you want to be monogamous and the person you are with has a history of cheating, the likelihood of them not cheating on you might be slightly lower than somebody who has never cheated before. So you pick your own, use your hand to pick your own partner. Okay. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Thank you. Ribi?
I'm all for monogamy. I mean, seriously, don't be greedy, stick with one. There's no need to be greedy. How many can you handle really? Although
one's enough, I think.
Just speak for myself on that one.
Rasheeda?
Just as Louisa said, I don't share. So I'm terrible at sharing, especially someone I really, really like. I don't share, and I'd hate to be in a position to share the person. So I'm very, very much for monogamy all the way.
Yeah, same here. But I feel like as a society, we're kind of evolving, and there's so many different types of relationships. And as Keysha says, you get to choose which one you want to be in. If you want to be in an open relationship, if you want to dabble in polygamy, what's the one where a woman has two husbands?
Polyandry.
That's up to you. Oh, it's rapid fire.
Oh.
So rapid fire is going to be done differently today. Each of our singles is going to choose one guru to ask a question. So I'm going to start with Ribi. So you get to choose one person to ask your rapid fire question.
Okay, I knew you were going to start with me. I don't know why, but I knew you were going to start with me. Okay, so my question is for Suborno. So earlier on, we talked about online dating and online dating apps, which I don't think is the scum of the earth. I think it's okay. It's just about how you approach it. So my question is, what is the right mindset to take into online dating, knowing that it can be a minefield? And you talked earlier on about, having a really balanced kind of approach to life. So what is the right kind of mindset that a single woman should take onto these apps to keep them, so that you're not always disappointed when you meet a dog and you just kind of stay positive? What are the tips that you can give to say, think about it from this perspective? Sorry, I know that's not a really easy rapid fire question, but.
No, you might not get a quick answer either. Well, first and foremost, I would say don't be on too many apps. 2 maximum, but I would encourage people to be on one and commit to that one. And sort of piggybacking onto Louisa and Laura's advice of setting up a proper profile, take the time to set up a proper profile and go through the hints and tips that they've both made. I'm sure between the 3 or even 7 of us on all of our Instagram pages, there's a whole host of advice. I would also commit to it at a certain time every day, because more and more people are suffering from app fatigue, and they're getting addicted to the little dopamine hits you get when you match with someone. So it's like any spare moment you have, it's just an excuse to swipe away, which to me isn't a good habit to be in for many different reasons, particularly for your mental health, because you're just getting dependent on it. So set up a proper profile, commit to one app, commit to the same time every day as well to do your swiping and your messaging, and that way it's done. So it's something that doesn't take over your life, but it just becomes a part of it, so that it's just an addition as opposed to your life revolving around trying to meet someone, because meeting someone isn't going to solve like bigger problems in your life. It should just be an additional thing that makes you a little bit happier, as opposed to trying to make you happy to meet someone.
Thank you very much. Finger snap, finger snap, finger snap. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Right, Rasheeda, your turn.
Okay, so my question is for Louisa, actually. So I guess for me is I'm single and ready to mingle. So I started, I created a profile on match.com, but I've been so terrible at it, actually. So my question to you is, as an online love guru, are there any apps, or from your experience, which apps are better and which ones are you just like, this is full of scum and bad people?
Well, it's been really interesting to see what people are using currently. Like the Hinge seems to be the big one for people actually looking for relationships, because you actually have to put so much effort into your profile, because they ask you loads of questions and stuff that you're into, and you have to have like quite a few pictures. So I think if you're looking more for something, or a serious thing, Hinge is the current app for that right now. So I feel like Tinder's just become such a hookup app now. It's just full of so much scum. And like, I know personally for me as well, like Bumble just seemed to be going that way as well. So I feel like Hinge is the one to give it a go. Yeah.
Thank you. See, that was rapid.
That was well done.
Let's clap for her.
Thank you, everyone.
Keysha, it's your turn.
Okay, so my question is for Laura. Get ready now.
Sorry, Laura.
No, it's an easy question. Because you do this already. What I want to ask you is, since we're currently going to be socially distant for a while, can you give us some ideas on what a socially distanced date would be, face to face, nothing virtual, apart from just walking in the park?
No.
What can we do? First date. What can we do?
That was a very rapid answer.
Did you hear the answer, Keysha?
She said nothing.
She said no.
No.
Oh!
Suborno has come to the rescue. Go for it.
Yeah, I can throw in some ideas. So if this is a possibility for you, go play some skimming stones, because who doesn't love doing stupid, silly stuff when you were a kid? If this is an option for you, go to an outdoor gym and have a bit of a competition, because it's just fun being a little bit stupid and silly. And then the other is doing like if it's an area you know well, go on like a fake history tour of that area. And the challenge is for them to ask you really stupid questions about the area and for you to give even more ridiculous answers. And all three of these are sort of playing on the playful silliness that we love in people. And, it's quite easy to escalate these situations as well.
Yeah, one of my friends found a ghost tour like online in Manchester. So she went on a date where they just went through that, and it was good fun apparently. So just finding quirky things like that, I guess. Change it up a bit, spice it up.
Nice.
Ooh, really good. Laura, do you have any comebacks? Or are you still a no?
As I get asked this question all the time. My mind just goes blank. I think a walk-in is the kind of go-to, but I was going to say, to kind of do like maybe like a history tour. There's a lot of apps that you can download that gives you the history. When you get to a certain point, you can follow them around like a city. But again, it depends where everyone is. Not everyone's based in a city. So I would say though that if you are meeting to go on a walk, like you should meet somewhere where you're stationary at the start, so you can have those bits of conversations, and try and plan ahead. If you have an idea of the route that you're going and you're like, oh, maybe we can pick up coffee here or do something, like ring ahead, make sure they're open, because the restrictions, they change all the time. So that would be my sort of tip. But again, didn't answer the question. I'm still walking.
Thank you, Laura.
So my rapid fire question is to Suborno, and it's actually a listener question. And she asked, what's the one misconception, belief, or attitude that makes dating challenging for people?
I suppose the number one that I see is that finding a partner is going to fix all your problems.
That's good.
If you've already got problems in your life, having a man or a woman or a long-term relationship or a kid isn't going to solve anything.
Yeah, like no one else can make you happy. You have to be happy in yourself already. That's really good. That's really, really good. I love that. Thank you very much, guys. It's been so much fun having you. You've given us some great tips and advice. And tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Is anyone doing anything tomorrow? Anything fun? Rasheeda?
Yes, I am actually. So,
Lord.
I will be sitting on my sofa watching Parasite tomorrow. So that's my Valentine's Day.
Parasite?
You don't want to watch Parasite on Valentine's Day.
That's what I'm watching, actually, because I'm watching it with my sister and I are watching it. So we're going to watch it together. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
It doesn't involve any men, chocolate, or flowers. Unless you guys are
Okay.
None of that.
For those in relationships and where social distance, what are you Louisa, what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I haven't actually seen my boyfriend in like 5 months now because of lockdowns and restrictions. It's just been horrible. So it's just going to be virtual and we're just going to have a couple of drinks together. And I was thinking maybe we could do one of those games like how well do you know your partner or something like that. Really test him. Yeah, I'm going to have a nice juicy steak as well.
Oh,
nice. Cool. Anyone else doing anything interesting that we should know about? No?
Well, someone is asking me out on a date, but I'm not sure. I'm not feeling the guy, unfortunately.
Really? Then it's a no.
I'm not feeling
it. If you're not feeling it,
gut, trust that gut.
And I'm not desperate enough to waste my time on Valentine's Day. I tell you, it's too cold for that drama. It's too cold.
Literally.
Right. Well, we have come to the end of today's episode, and I would like to say a big thank you to our love gurus. Thank you for being our guests. It's been so great having you, and thank you for joining us. Thank you to our listeners for listening. Hope you learned something if you're single. And can you tell us where we can find you? Louisa, I'll start with you because I see you on the screen.
I had a lot of fun, ladies, and meeting everyone. You can find me at London Love Guru on Instagram.
Great. Laura, where can we find you?
Yes, I'm on Instagram as well. My personal account is at the Tartan Matchmaker, and the business account is at Matchmaking Scotland.
And if you're in Scotland and you're looking for a matchmaker, go to Laura. Yeah, and Subrano, where can we find you? Your podcast, your everything.
So on TikTok and Instagram, check me out at the handles at brownbear30ish for loads of advice and all that. And then the podcast is called Online Dating Laid Bare, and that's on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and probably other places as well.
Great. Thank you very, very much for joining us, guys. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us, the Talking Single podcast, as well. And leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Till next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Thanks for listening to the Talking Single podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Would love to hear from you. So please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter with the handle at Talking Single Podcast. You can also send us comments or questions with the hashtag at Talking Single Podcast. We are downloadable on Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and of course share with your family and friends. Take care and see you next week. Same time, same place.